Hey, this is Dean and Natalie from the Game Den, the Film Den, and the Horrorcast. Please check out those shows. But right now, you are listening to Nerd of the Third Power.
Hello everybody and welcome once more to an episode of Nerd of the Third Power, your one-stop shop for all things nerdy and awesome. I am your host and master of ceremonies, Dr. Gonzo. With me as always in this epic quest of awesomeness is our resident anime goddess, the Cat. Cat, how you doing?
Oh my god, it is so cold. I don't know if anyone else got snow, but it's like the first snow of this season. It is so cold. Okay, I'm done whining now.
We haven't gotten snow yet, but we know it's coming. Actually, the big thing over here isn't snow so much as slush and ice. We'll get like 12 inches of snow, nobody will bat an eye. We get like one hint of ice, and it's like, oh god, close the schools, we're going to DEFCON 1.
Winter is coming.
What's snow?
Snow is a lovely thing that I like to ski on and do almost nothing else with.
Oh, do you mean white rain? Because that's all we really get down here.
I thought you called that cocaine in Texas.
No. We'll see some white stuff fall. We're like, what is that? And it hits the ground and just becomes wet. We're like, oh, it must be rain then.
It's a strange rain.
And sitting over in her chair, wondering what the hell we all have to whine about this winter, is Skyblaze. Skyblaze, how you doing?
I'm alright. There's no snow here. Lots of fog. In fact, on Saturday night, Sheffield mostly became Silent Hill.
And you lived. But did you die?
Not as far as I'm aware.
That's my new question anytime anybody says anything. But did you die? No.
On the plus side, I haven't really had to leave the house much because Warlords of Draenor came out. Yes, I still play World of Warcraft, don't judge me.
But we're nerds, that's what we do, we judge.
Other nerds.
Anyway, and over in our correspondence corner, Brian, you're looking pretty sad over there with John not here.
It's a little bit on the lonely side, but I can put my feet up. That's always sort of nice.
Okay.
There wasn't a joke there. I like putting my feet up. I don't know if it was silence.
I didn't know if you were gonna follow up with that. You know, I didn't know if you had a plan, if you had a scheme, if you had some kind of elaborate running joke that was going to run through the entire episode. Like the time I asked you to name Marvel villains, and you just started shouting them over the course of the episode.
No, that was who's my favorite artist, and I also put that one on the Facebook page.
That was a great episode.
Indeed. And we've got another one good for you tonight. This is our last movie review of the year. We're going to be reviewing Disney's Big Hero 6. The first, I'd say, real, true collaboration between Disney and Marvel on a film. So that's going to be fun. But of course, there is procedure to follow, so we're going to start our show, as always, with Ask a Geek. And we got a couple of good ones here. First one here is for all of us from Holly, and she asks, what is something that you do to nerdify your holidays? So, Skyblaze, let's start with you on this one.
Honestly, not really that much. There's some kind of traditions in my family, but they're kind of cultural, religious things rather than nerd traditions, because my parents aren't that nerdy. So it's mostly things like Christmas and so on are mostly important to me in a religious sense rather than anything else. So.
All right, Brian, what about you?
I have an 8-bit wreath that I hang out on my door. It has Galaga on it and a 1-up mushroom, Tetris block, and things like that. And at least Sonic rings are the lights, so they blink. I also tried to enter a contest at my place that was decorate your balcony, and like you could win basically gift cards, which is cool. I wouldn't mind a gift card. And I tried decorating my balcony with some nice lights. And Optimus Prime, Boba Fett, and R2-D2 as sort of like the 3 wise men. I didn't even place. I was upset. I was so mad at my apartment complex when the results came back and I wasn't even like 3rd. I was like, oh, this is bull.
Man, that is totally not the answer I expected to get from you. Expecting you to tell me that you decorated your tree with ornaments that you made out of Lego.
No, truth be told, actually, my parents every year will get me ornaments like as like one of the stocking stuffers, and they're usually some sort of geek related theme. So my tree is going to be nothing but like comic book stuff and Star Wars stuff and Lego stuff and just whatever they've been giving me throughout. I won't have a normal ornament on my tree ever.
Are you doing your Lego Advent calendar again this year?
If I can find it, I would love to do my Lego Advent calendar. If the fans wanted me to share it again on Facebook page, I could do that. I might also maybe do sort of video recordings for it to up the grade a bit. But, you know, never really sure. I have to find them first. I can't remember where I got my last one. I think I got it at Toys R Us, so I might have to check them again. But they're expensive, so I might try Amazon.
Kat, what about you? How do you nerdify your holidays?
Pretty much any given holiday. My family isn't really very religious, so after we're done being with the family, we'll go to the movies, and usually it's some sort of nerdy movie we'll see, since a lot of nerdy movies come out right around the winter season. So usually we'll be like, all right, this is our third time going to see Lord of the Rings, but we literally have nothing else to do today.
You could watch all 6 of them.
Yeah. And then it's the same thing with Brian, where my family has a lot of nerdy Christmas ornaments for our tree. So we'll have like light up X-Wings and light up Enterprises, and we've got like a bunch of just characters and stuff that are all really cool and nerdy. And then usually the gift giving in my family is incredibly nerdy, because my family is pretty much almost all nerds. So, you know, I'll go get my dad some nerdy book about something, and he'll buy me a bunch of Doctor Who stuff, and that's usually about how it goes.
Well, for me, Christmas, I've got 3 nerdy Christmas traditions. One that just started last year, when my mother got me as a Christmas gift a replica of the Charlie Brown Christmas tree, the little spindly, droopy thing with the single red bulb on the end of it and Linus's blanket at the base. So I put that up on my kitchen table this year, and I'm going to do so every year from now on. The other tradition that I have is a Jazz Jackrabbit marathon. Which was heavily, for those of you who play Jazz Jackrabbit, you'll know it's heavily Christmas themed. Let's see, also love the to play through the Sam and Max episode. I can't remember the title, but it's the one where Santa decides that he's going to quit and all the elves are like scared to death of him. And then of course there's the one that I think we all share in, and that is the Doctor Who Christmas episode, which I'm really interested to see what they do this year.
It's gonna be interesting because Nick Frost is Santa Claus.
That's gonna be amazing.
Oh, I just did remember a kind of geeky thing that we always do at Christmas. We always watch Muppet Christmas Carol.
Oh, there you go.
It's like the law. And then watching Doctor Who Christmas special, but I don't even think that's worth mentioning because it's just this, yeah.
So expected.
Yeah, I know.
The sun rises in the east, it sets in the west. Fish swim, sheep go baa, and nerds watch Doctor Who Christmas episodes.
Correct.
Or at least we do.
It is known.
Which segues nicely into this next question here from Daniel, and he asked all of us, out of all of them so far, what is your favorite Doctor Who Christmas episode?
Oh, what's the name of the one where they're on the space Titanic?
Voyage of the Damned.
Yeah, I like that one, and it partially because I really like the character of Astrid, but mostly because it's a parody, or like not a parody, but an homage to the Poseidon Adventure, which is one of those movies that I've seen a million times for no conceivable reason. And there's scenes that are just specifically like, yeah, that was totally this scene in Poseidon Adventure, and I don't know why, I just really enjoyed that one. A lot of good extra characters in that one.
Skyblaze?
Well, maybe the Doctor Who Christmas Carol one.
That was my favorite.
But some of them are quite weak. Sorry, Kat, but I wasn't a huge fan of Voyage of the Damned because some of it was just so stupid. He tried to kill me with a forklift ending was just fucking
absolutely.
Really. And the Doctor, the Widow and the Wardrobe, or whatever the fuck it was called, was just awful.
Oh, I didn't like that one.
Had so much potential, and it was just like just wasting this.
Yeah, they should have just gone to Narnia. If they were gonna pretend like it was Narnia, they should have just gone.
Yeah, if you're gonna do something, go whole hog, you know? The only other one that I actually kinda liked was The Next Doctor.
Oh, that one was good.
Yeah.
That was full of feels.
And that's because a lot of the emotional stuff was quite nicely done. The action scenes were awful again, but a lot of the kind of emotional stuff was quite nice.
Brian, what about you?
I think I'm with you, Gonzo. I like the Christmas Carol version. Because the other ones, they're alright, but I don't know, something about the Christmas Carol just seems to be so a traditional story on Christmas.
Yeah, that's why I like it, is because it's actually centered around Christmas. All the others so far have been like this world-shattering catastrophe that just happens to take place on Christmas. And this one felt like a real, honest Christmas episode. So, yeah. And that's all the Ask a Geek questions that we have for this week. As always, you can send them to us through the email at billysmith@channelawesome.com or drop them in the That Guy with the Glasses forum thread. Or we also, on our Facebook, our engineer puts up an Ask a Geek thread every single week. Yeah, and you can always put them up there if you are one of our Facebook faithful. And if you're not, why aren't you? Get on that. And with that, we're going to jump right into our news segment, starting this week with Brian, because he's the only one here. So, Brian, take it away.
And thank you, and this is this week's Multiverse Headlines. There's not a lot of news going on right now. Holidays are coming up, so everyone's sort of getting prepared for that. What is happening, though, is something a little bit astonishing. Well, not astonishing, but it doesn't happen very often. DC's Convergent event will be coming up next year in April and May, but they're already starting to release in sections the 40-some-odd titles that are going to be taking place over those 2 months. The rest of the DC titles will be on hiatus until the move to Los Angeles is over. The first 10 titles that came through were not really a big shock. I'll try to go through as fast as I can without taking too much time. But obviously you have things like Superman, The Atom, Batgirl, starring Stephanie Brown, believe it or not. At least that's what it looks like anyway. A Nightwing Oracle series, a Flash series. We also have Titans. More Justice League of America, but more of a female group going into it as well. The Question, Rina Montoya, will be coming back for at least 2 months. Also Batman and Robin, Harley Quinn as well in her more pre-New 52 outfit, and the DC Animated Universe. So nothing really a big shocker there. One of the bigger shocks, though, was with the next 10 titles that came through, as it looked like it would be more of a retrospective of the 1990s DC Universe. And you remember a lot in the 1990s, there were sort of a lot of legacy sort of characters flying around. Steel is involved, Azrael, the original one, will be coming back as well. Justice League International. Catwoman showing up, but in her purple suit, not her most black suit. And also coming up is Supergirl, I'm not sure really which Supergirl, and the original Superboy. Aquaman will be showing up, but minus his hand. And then one of the Suicide Squad will be coming back with a plus-size Amanda Waller. Also, the return of Parallax/Hal Jordan will be coming in these sections of the news. And Green Arrow with the returning Connor Hawke. A lot of this is a retread, not retread really, but a lot of this is sort of the multiverse converging, thus the name Convergence. We still don't know what the main series will be about. That hasn't been solicited just yet, other than we know it will be 8 issues long going over the 2 months. So stay tuned as I hopefully bring you some more news as it arrives. Well, that's it for this week of the Multiverse Headlines. Like I said, I've got a very light week ahead of everyone. It's going to be very like this last couple of shows. Well, that's it for me. Back over to you, Kat.
Well, not a whole lot of announcements were made in the past week, so instead of headlines, I thought I'd talk a little bit about something that's come up that I kind of wanted to address. The final chapter of Naruto has been released, and the fates of our favorite characters and their long-debated love lives have finally been decided. Warning, warning, spoilers ahead! Mute the audio for the next 3 minutes if you don't want to know the ending of the manga. Naruto has been the battleground for shipping wars since 1997, and finally the winners have been decided. The Naruhina fans have it. Fan favorite character Hinata finally snags her childhood crush, and the two have super cute kids together. Sasuke and Sakura kind of end up becoming kind of a thing, and they kind of have a kid. And of course, Shino and Tamari end up together, like, duh. And while many fans are quite pleased with the outcome, many are not. Some are displeased because of the lack of real build-up to the end pairings, which will probably be shown in the last Naruto the movie, which will come out in December, but some are miffed that their favorite ship sank. The biggest demonstration of the spurned ship captain came as a petition on iPetitions.com that demands Naruto be banned in the US until mangaka Kishimoto redoes the ending with Naruto and Sakura ending up together. Oh boy. Guys, this is actually a thing. This really happened. The petition has 677 signatures as of this recording, and while I estimate that a large chunk are just trolls, there are people out there that would rather have the whole series banned in a country than see it end without their pairing. Dear listeners, I think we all know we've long since entered into an age of instant gratification and self-importance. Many people, many young people especially, have this sort of belief that they deserve the things that they want. I can understand being disappointed because something didn't turn out the way that you wanted, some pairing that you wanted didn't come into fruition, but deciding that you know better than the creator, and that if you don't get your way, then no one does. Sorry to be blunt, but holy crap, that is arrogance, petty, and bitter. Part of being a consumer of anything is acknowledging that the product itself is out of your control. No author or artist of any manga owes you anything. Naruto and Sakura are his characters. He created them, wrote them down, drew them, and has been in charge of their personalities and storyline for the last 17 years. That's longer than some fans have been alive. And the perk of creating, writing, and drawing your own characters and your own story is that you get to do what you want with them. Naruto ended in the way that Kishimoto chose. It's canon now. You don't have to like it, but you do have to accept it. If you want to control the fates of great characters and their cool stories, write something of your own. Draw your own comic, make your own characters. Hell, go write some fan fiction. But don't try to tell the mangaka what to do with his property. And you certainly don't get to tell millions of other fans that they shouldn't get to read one of the best-selling manga of our time, just because your ship didn't sail. Anyway, that got a little heavy. Over to you, Dr. Gonzo.
And that's all the news that's fit to hear this week. We're going to take a quick musical break. When we come back, Big Hero 6. I don't have a clever analogy for this one, so yeah, was it good or was it bad? We'll find out when we come back. Stay tuned.
Because you know I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass, Yeah, it's pretty clear, I ain't no size 2, but I can shake it like I'm supposed to do. I got that boom boom that all the boys chase, and all the right junk in all the right places. I see the magazine working that Photoshop. We know that stuff ain't real. Come on now, make it stop. If you got beauty, just raise them up, 'cause every inch of you is perfect from the bottom to the top. Yes, my mama, she told me don't worry about your size, because boys like a little more booty to hold at night. You know I won't be no stick figure silicone Barbie doll. So if that's what you're into, just go ahead and move along. Because you know I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass, I'm bringing booty back. Go ahead and tell them skinny ladies that. No, I'm just playing, I know you think you're fat, but I'm here to tell you every inch of you is perfect from the bottom to the top. Yes, my mama, she told me don't worry about your size, because boys like a little more booty to hold at night. You know I won't be no stick figure silicone Barbie doll. So if that's what you're into, just go ahead and move along. Because you know yes, my mama, she told me don't worry about your size. I'm all about that bass. I'm all about that bass. I'm all about that bass. I'm all about that bass.
Alright, and we are back. And for our final movie review of this year, I think this is the first time in a while that we're not closing out on either a Hunger Games or a Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter review for the year. I think that's kind of, I don't know what that says, but this year we're closing out our movie reviews with Big Hero 6, the first real, I would say, collaboration between Disney and Marvel on a film. Brian and Kat both got a chance to go see it. I did not. I'll be playing Simple Simon, asking questions as appropriate. So, first off, let's start, guys. What were your general thoughts on this film?
It was amazing. It was so cute. I'm ready for a sequel.
That's some high praise. I'll tell you what, I've never felt out of my, this film was obviously not made for someone of my age. Let's put it that way. There was a lot of times sitting there, I expected the film to turn and going, what the hell are you doing? No, this is not for you. Get out. What? I have to see it for a podcast. No, we don't care. Get out. Like, what? I'm sorry? This film became really mean all of a sudden.
It was one of the few Disney films that genuinely felt like it needed to be an anime. Which is probably why I enjoyed it a lot more than a lot of other people, is because it was very heavily influenced by that sort of thing.
So, alright, so now let's start breaking the movie down to its component parts, starting as always with the plot and the script. So, Brian, since you're probably more familiar with the source material than I or Kat, why don't you give us a brief rundown of the origins of this film and the plot?
Well, I'll tell you this much for sure. I'm slightly familiar with the Big Hero 6 comic. I think last time I called it terrible, and that was a bit disingenuous. I went back to go kind of reread it. It's not terrible. It's also not that very good, but it's not, it's not unreadable. And the comic and the film are not alike at all. I have a graphic here. We can probably put this in the description of our podcast as well, but I want to show you guys, and it's the characters from the comic in comparison to the characters in the movie themselves. And you can tell, you keep saying it's a collaboration. The way I've sort of read how this got developed, it wasn't really a collaboration by the two companies. It seems more like Disney looked over and said, we like that, ours now. Because remember when, I'm going a little bit off topic, but remember when Marvel got bought out by Disney, everyone sort of complained that they would Disneyfy the Marvel characters? Turns out they were kind of true. They kind of Disneyfied these characters. So I'll just stick with the film. The film's origins is kind of close. And what it is starts out with two brothers, Hiro and the younger brother, and
Hiro is the younger brother, Tadashi is the older brother. Thank
you. And basically they're super geniuses. Super geniuses missing their parents. So a la Disney. So what happens is that Hiro is a genius child. He loves building robots. He loves fighting with robots and betting and basically being a shark in robot fights.
He's a little asshole. It's amazing.
But his older brother shows him where he works with the other Big Hero 6 members who aren't the superheroes just yet. And he gets all excited going, no, this is great. I do want to be here. I do want to make something with my life. I'm going to go and do a science fair, basically. Invent these wonderful microbots that can do like everything just by thinking of it. And then an explosion happens that takes his brother's life. So now he's uber depressed, obviously. He's become
Sasuke number 2317.
No, he's not. No. See, this character is likable.
Oh!
Yeah, there you go. I don't know much about Sasuke, because I don't know much about anime. But I know enough from the people who watch anime that he's not a likable character. Hiro, he's a cute kid. We like Hiro. So after his brother dies, a sort of conspiracy sort of shows up that his invention was stolen, getting reproduced by this supervillain, trying to figure out what this supervillain is, kind of get closure for the death of his brother. And it's an emotional journey because this is sort of how he gets over the fact his brother died. His brother died very heroically too, trying to save people. So it's this really big emotional journey for him. You kind of see the big growth of the character, and along the way, he sort of gets a surrogate brother in Baymax. Who is nothing like the comic version. They took the comic version and said, no, that's not going to work. Here, we'll make him fluffy.
and played by Gabriel Iglesias.
Well, no, the voice was Scott Adsit, I believe, who you may recognize because I think he used to be on like Saturday Night Live for the longest period of time, and 30 Rock. Like, he was one of those like comedian guys that you kind of see everywhere but doesn't hit it big. Like, and he plays the voice of a robot who is a medical droid, basically. The whole shtick is that he was made as the personal healthcare assistant, and the idea of having everyone having a personal healthcare assistant that can do basically every sort of healthcare service that you can possibly need. So Hiro gets who become his friends, the other heroes, Go-Go, Wasabi, Honey Lemon, and Fred.
Wow, one of these names is not like the others.
And because they all worked with Takashi, and they say it again? Tadashi. God damn it. I'm terrible. So the script is it's an origin story. It's like long story short, this is an origin story of the team. How they sort of all came together, how they all sort of got their quote-unquote gear, because they're all super geniuses, so they all sort of built their own stuff, and learning about what happened to why this guy is here, what he wants, and eventually stopping him. And the whole time Hiro trying to sort of get over the fact that he feels like he's been left alone when he's actually not alone.
So, Kat, what did you think of the plot and script of this film?
It's a very good family movie. It's when we're going into all of these Marvel films, we're not really expecting a family movie. We're expecting sort of a grown-up Iron Man, loose morals, or whatever. You know, we're expecting a lot of action and punching and blood and bullets and all sorts of stuff. And I think going into this film thinking that it's a Marvel film is kind of a mistake, because it is a superhero film, but it's not really like any of the other Marvel films we've seen. It really feels more like, I don't even want to say a Disney film, because it kind of feels more like a DreamWorks film, but that's just me. But it's just all around a good, fun movie. I really enjoyed it, but again, I love anime a lot, and this, I really felt like, I know its character and everything sort of comes from the comic, but it really felt like it had some anime influences in there.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. Like, what sort of influences did you see?
Well, I mean, everything is like a hybrid of Asian and American, which I think they did specifically, like, they did more of a hybrid for the movie to make it appeal a little bit more, but there's a lot of stuff where it's like a lot of Asian names, and like, so the Hiro's aunt owns a cafe that has a big giant Maneki Neko on top of it, and it's the look and feel of it is just, it's really awesome for an anime fan to watch something like that, especially as a setting. And for, like, to have actual Asian characters in an American production, it's kind of a big deal, because that just doesn't really happen that often.
Yeah, the cityscape is I'm gonna butcher this name again. It's San Francisco.
San Francisco.
Yeah, so it's San Francisco and Tokyo sort of merged into one.
It makes the Golden Gate Bridge really amazing to look at. Not gonna lie, that cityscape was pretty cool.
Okay, so now let's talk about sort of the cast and characters real quick. Who were the standout characters in this film to you guys?
It's obviously gonna be Baymax. Everyone probably wants a Baymax now.
Baymax is like this amazing, adorable mascot character, and I think this is why it sort of feels like a DreamWorks to me, because it's sort of like Toothless in How to Train Your Dragon, where you could just have a movie all about Baymax and you would be okay with it, and nothing could happen in it and you would be okay with that. Like, it's just this adorable kind of mascot-y character who just sort of hangs out, and it doesn't really understand, you know, necessarily culture or sarcasm or anything like that. It's just this wonderful little robot who has this function, kind of like WALL-E, but sort of has its personality of its own. It's just such a fun robot to have around, and it's adorable. We have to talk about Fred. We have to talk about Fred. I don't know if you
want to talk about Fred, but we could talk about
We have to talk about Fred's dad.
Well, obviously Fred's dad.
Fred's dad.
Oh my god. I was wondering if he was going to show up in this film. If anyone can't guess, there is a Stanley cameo. I remember this. I was in the theater too, and I was like, "You got to be! He's here too."
Somebody had joked on Facebook that Nick Fury shows up at the end and invites Hiro and Baymax to join the Avengers Initiative, and I was like, "Dude, I know they're just fucking with me, but if that happened, that would be amazing." So I kind of like went in kind of not really expecting anything to happen. And then, of course, there's the Stan Lee cameo, and it just freaking blew my mind. And the character of Fred is this guy who just sort of hangs out, and he doesn't go to the university with everyone else. He just sort of hangs out because he thinks science is cool, mostly because he thinks eventually science will be able to turn him into a giant fire-breathing lizard. If this were not a children's movie, this kid would be the stoner.
Yes.
And so he's just this random weird guy who has all of the throwaway gag lines of just being weird and random. And then they go to his house, and he lives in this gigantic, like, Wayne Manor kind of mansion with a butler and everything because his family is super rich, and you don't expect it because he walks around in, like... He actually describes how long he wears his underwear before he washes it. Like, he's, like, so miserly and everything, but... Goes to this gigantic house of his, and there is a portrait of his parents on the wall, and his father is Stan Lee. Oh my god!
Yeah, Fred is also the character that sort of is the nerd, I guess, geek of the geeks. That makes no sense after I said it, but like he's the one that's in the comic books, and he's talking about, he's the one like naming everyone's nickname comes from him. He figured it all out. When the villain shows up, which I don't think they gave him a name, so he was just the villain for the longest period of time. He was like, oh my god, it is in fact a super villain. And it's like, oh, so he's sort of the character that kind of sparks the idea that for Hiro that, okay, we can stop him, but we need to do certain things to stop him for. So he's sort of that catalyst and also kind of comic relief-ish.
Yeah, while kind of seeming like a stoner, which
Yes.
is a weird combination, but it kind of works out.
Any other standout characters that you guys want to discuss?
I really like Hiro and Tadashi. Like, they have really, really great chemistry together, I guess, for a pair of brothers. Like, I really like that their interactions are all really, really awesome. I love them both.
Okay.
I think she liked them, guys.
I may have liked this movie a lot. I don't know.
For me, the other like three I think we haven't talked about is Go-Go, Wasabi, and Honey Lemon. They're not bad characters, but I do feel like they fall in that stereotypical. They fall into tropes, you know. Like what was it? No, Go-Go is the one. She's the tough girl.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm tough and smart, and I take no guff from anybody. I have part of my hair dyed. That's how tough I am.
She's also like their like wheelman, basically.
Yeah, but then you have Wasabi, who is like the smart guy, but he's anal retentive.
That is definitely a trope.
Because he had
I
his.
like him also being terrified.
Yeah, he was like the he's like, I'm a superhero, but this is probably gonna hurt a lot. Like he had a lot of those moments. He was scared of heights, but he flew anyway. And then there's Honey Lemon, who is a stick. Like, her character design is the thinnest character I have ever seen on a screen, I think. like Jack Skellington skinny.
Like she turned sideways and you wonder where she's gone.
A little bit, but like she's like,
What happened to her?
yeah, she's not sort of a bad character, but she sort of falls into the tropes of like, all right, she's the blonde girl, she's kind of hyperactive and exciting and things like that, and her
socially awkward.
yeah, her powers are she's a chemist, I believe, is what it is. She's a like super smart chemist, and so her purse, like she can make up compounds and they spit out and she can throw them and things and objects like that. But it's like she's super happy all the time too, even when like in sad moments.
But only in socially awkward ways is she happy. Like, it's so weird. They're a fun group of characters. I really like them, even if they aren't super original or anything. It feels right for the movie. I really wish they had a little more screen time, like, apart from one another, so that you could kind of get to know the characters a little bit better. But other than that, I enjoyed them.
Well, I think it's an origin story. It's like, this is who they are, and then hopefully, and not even hopefully, obviously everyone seems to really, I think it made a good amount of money in the opening weekend, so you probably get a sequel out of this, if not maybe a series that can sort of expand on what they want.
Oh, series would be good.
And I think, yeah, Disney's also going to be publishing books. Here's a weird thing. Marvel's not going to be publishing the comics for this. Disney, on their own publishing side, is going to be publishing stories for these people. A little weird. Maybe I'll get into that a little bit later, because I did a little bit of research when I heard that.
So now let's talk a bit about the presentation of this film, the visuals and the sound and the music. What were your general thoughts on the presentation of the film?
Man, there's a lot of colors. I didn't know there was that many colors in the world. It was colorful.
It's not quite like live-action Speed Racer, but it was a very bright film. It's kind of a nice change from how many really dark, faded movies, especially superhero-themed ones made by certain directors. How dark the superhero movies get and the coloring of them. And this is like super bright, crazy colors all the time. Like even the night scenes are bright as shit.
Well, they use the wonderful neon of night scenes. Hey guys, it's night. Well, we want to make it colorful. I have neon. Oh, there we go. We're like 2 steps away from Tron, man.
It's like this. It's like the '60s got sick and threw up on this movie.
One of the criticisms that I heard for the movie was that it looked too much like Frozen and like Tangled, because that's sort of the style that Disney has opted to go with for a little while. So it really, like, some of the character designs of not the main characters, but of like side characters, like their aunt, look a little too much like characters in other things, basically.
Yeah, it's called like same face syndrome or something like that. It's like one of the terms I heard about is that Disney has sort of like, this is the face, and this shall go on this character, and this character, and this character. I think when Honey Lemon's her character poster got debuted, people were like, well, that's obviously just Rapunzel. That's just Rapunzel. You just put Rapunzel with short hair. I was like, I can kind of see it. But even then, I think it's just how studios kind of happen. They might accidentally fall into a house style. I don't know. I don't think it's done on purpose. It just sort of happens. It's sort of their thing, their style. Like how DreamWorks, for the longest period of time, every character had that arched eyebrow in their posters and things like that. So it's their style, basically. It's what sort of has happened, is the artists have sort of kind of gotten together and it's sort of come out this way. I don't want to say it's done on purpose. I think it just sort of happened. But in any case, like, Hiro looks really good. And it's so funny because Baymax, if you look at him, he's just circles, basically. He's circles and he's white. Like, go to an artist and tell me, like, I want you to take this marshmallow, give it personality. Like, oh God, how?
Baymax's design reminds me a bit of and this is probably me showing either my age or how obscure the shit that I'm into is. He reminds me of the Shmoo.
The Shmoo. Oh, that sounds familiar.
He was a character in the old Popeye comic strips way back when. He also, if you're a cartoon fan, he made an appearance in of all places, a Flintstones spinoff where Fred and Barney were cops and they were partnered with him.
What the fuck? That sounds like, just in your description, I would never watch this thing that you've described, because that sounds really fucking weird.
The Hanna-Barbera universe is a very strange place to live.
But he's basically like you said, he's basically just like this amorphous white marshmallow thing. And so when I look at Baymax's design, I'm kind of reminded of the Shmoo.
A little bit. And I do like the fact that he went through like 2 different armors before, and like the first armor was almost sort of samurai-esque, while the second one is definitely more sci-fi. And it's so funny because you see one of the big jokes is because he is sort of, like I said, fluffy. Is that like he has to be basically stuffed into this armor. And it was so weird because like the joke in the trailer was like when he first flexed, the armor just goes flying off his body. Actually didn't make it into the film.
Oh yeah.
Probably because we saw it so often, we knew it was coming. So I was like, no, he's here. And it's like, oh, it fit the first time? I feel a little ripped off.
Damn you.
I'm expecting a joke here, and I didn't get my joke.
I like that when he wears the first armor, he still moves really, really slow.
Well, he has really tiny legs.
He does. It's so funny. Like, great, he can punch your face off, but he still can't move fast enough to get to your face.
Yeah, that's very true. I liked how, like, the Fred suit, I thought, was a little bit silly looking.
Oh, incredibly. I didn't really like it. I mean, it fit the character, but it sort of didn't fit the aesthetic of the rest of the show.
Yeah, it definitely sort of stood out. I did like the joke, though, where, like, my arms are getting crushed. Oh, wait, I'm in a suit. Hold on. And just pulls his arms back in. It's like, all right, that's better. I was like, all right, that's funny, as I was not expecting that to happen. It's like, how come no one else has thought of this? All the other superheroes wearing armor is like, we can just pull our arms in. Oh, jeez, that saves us so much time.
You had also asked about the music, and I don't know that I've ever thought, after watching a movie, I really need to get this Fall Out Boy song, but...
Is that who that was?
It was Fall Out Boy!
Oh, I was trying to was trying to picture them when I heard, because there was only one song over, like, at least a couple times. I just like, who are they? And then I didn't pay attention in the credits. Like, oh crap, I'll never figure this out. It's Fall Out Boy.
I know. It was such a cool song, though. They played it when they're getting all of their super suits and stuff, and then I think they played it either again at the end or during the credits or something, and it was just such a cool song. And then it was Fall Out Boy, and I was like, I'm surprised.
It's like, wait, the same band that wrote Down, Down on the Merry-Go-Round is the same group that wrote this awesome song? Have I stepped into Bizarro World?
I think I did.
Maybe they just got a really nice check. Like, guys, we got to make this good.
Ah.
Disney's calling.
Maybe
Disney's
they're
calling?
big cartoon fans.
Yeah.
They're like, dude, this movie looks awesome. Let's write a really cool song for it. You mean like, no, not like our other music.
But we're Fall Out Boy.
No, you see, we're talented. We just have to now show it. Oh, what have we been doing before? Just riding by the seat of our pants. I will, yeah. Unfortunately, like the song stuck out of my head. The score was not really there again, and that just could be I was tired when I was watching the movie. It sort of fell into the background because I think, because I was more stuck. Who is singing this?
And with the score, I would have, and maybe this is just because this is how we do it when we have foreign visuals in a movie. We usually add like an element of foreign music into the score. So you expect some like little dun 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 every time there's anything remotely Chinese in a movie. And I was expecting like something, anything at all. But I don't really remember there being any Asian influence to the music itself, which I thought was kind of odd because they had done so much Asian influence to the visuals.
I'm sure there was probably a little bit of it because it's just you can't not have something like that be in there. But they might have tried to, because there was a little bit of electronic music in there, but not like uber dubstep, more dub curve.
Yeah, so
like not a full step.
Just a little dub, like nudge, little shuffle.
Yeah.
In the general direction.
And so it probably sort of was in there, and maybe subliminally was trying to get through. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. Because I don't remember anything of it as well. But I think it might have been the same guy who also did, I think, the Wreck-It Ralph one, and so obviously he's more electronic than he is anything else, so that's why you sort of have that.
Yeah, but Wreck-It Ralph, for no reason, had AKB48 in the credits.
That's very true. That is very true.
They straight up had a sugar pop song.
Maybe they just weren't available this time around.
It's AKB48. They're always available. There's 48 of them. Actually, 48 is a conservative number for that band.
But yeah, so we had to work with a little bit of Fall Out Boy and then a little bit of electronic sort of background music.
And the electronic worked for the setting because it was this futuristic kind of setting.
Yeah,
with lots of neon and shit, you know.
Amalgamation of two different cities and things like that. So you kind of have, I guess, neutral style music in there. So like, because electronic dance music can go all around the world. That's just machines. I'm gonna get an angry email by somebody, aren't I? How dare you talk bad about this? This
tribe in this country doesn't have computers yet. How can it represent their culture? Blah blah blah.
Well, have you heard dubstep? Man, that thing echoes. I'm pretty sure it makes it.
When the computers finally take over the world, then dubstep will be literally everywhere.
It would be literally everywhere.
We've sort of broken the film down to its components. Let's sort of put it back together. So, what overall are your final thoughts on this film? Is sort of just to summarize everything that this film is.
That's actually a really good question. I would say overall, it's a good film. And overall, I think it's a good family, good sort of kids film to sort of go and watch. Because you have a lot of elements a lot of positive elements sort of going into it. Science, a big deal about it. Hey, this is really cool. But it is like I said at the top, this is a Disney-fied Marvel thing. They took something and completely reworked it to make it their own kind of object. They said, we're going to take out this stuff that doesn't work, this stuff that's kind of offensive that was in the comic, clean it up, straighten it all out, smooth out the sides, and you get almost a brand new product out of it.
Kat, what about you? Final thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know anybody who's actually read the comics, but I don't think people who have read the comics would be very pleased with it because there are so many incredibly big differences. I feel like a lot of the characters were shaped more around their actors than they were the characters in the comic books. So if you go in with those kinds of expectations, you're not really going to have a very good time. But if you go in with more of the idea of something like How to Train Your Dragon or even WALL-E or something like that, you're gonna get a perfectly nice, good family movie that's really fun and emotional. And if you like anime, you are probably going to like this film because the visuals are just so appealing for us anime fans.
So, this is the part of the show where we give our final rating of the film. As always, in order from best to worst, we have See It Now, Wait for Matinee, Wait for DVD, Wait for Rental, Wait for Cable, and Don't Even Bother. And Brian's rating of Fuck This Movie. So, Kat, what's your final rating for this film?
I feel like a See It Now. I don't necessarily want to tell you all what to do with your life because I really enjoyed this movie, probably more than other people did, but I'm for See It Now.
Brian, what about you?
Oh, I've been dreading this like all weekend because, or at least since I saw it, and I mean all weekend, I mean yesterday. Mainly because this film's not for me, but I'm okay with that. So I feel like my rating should be ignored because to me it's like, yeah, it's good. You know, buy it when it comes out on DVD if you missed it. Like, that's kind of how I feel about it. Because I'm older than they really probably wanted me to go see this film as. Well, but it's not a bad film. I'm going to put that out there. It's not a bad film.
Okay, alright. So, Kat says See It Now, and Brian says I'm old, ignore me as I go and putter about on my lawn.
Basically, it's like, look, guys, listen to Kat. That's my rating.
Listen to Kat.
Alright, okay. That's Big Hero 6. And, yeah, sounds like overall it was a pretty spectacular film. I'm disappointed that I missed it. But that's all the time we have for Nerd of the Third Power this week. We're going to be taking next week off for Thanksgiving so that we can gorge ourselves on delicious turkey and pie and celebrate the mass genocide of the native people from the theft of their land because, hey, America, fuck yeah. And, so yeah, we'll be coming back in 2 weeks with our final show for 2014. So we will see you then. As always, I'm Dr. Gonzo.
I'm the Cat.
I'm Brian.
Alright, we'll see you in a couple weeks. Have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And for those of you who don't celebrate Thanksgiving or live in other countries, be chill.
Eat some food anyway.
Be cool.
Enjoy yourself.
Be excellent to each other. Party on. Whatever. And, yeah, we'll see you, as always, in a couple weeks. Taka, play us out.